So the 6 type of goods. Any guess of what are the 6 type of goods? Moral good? Chocolate? Is good, isn't it? Economic good. So there are many types of goods, but the first classification, okay, the first principle of ethics to do good. Everybody agrees into that. The problem is that some people put good in pleasure, only pleasure. They become a bit like animals because pleasure is mainly body pleasure. So the first principle of morality or ethics is to do good. And the second is to avoid evil or to prevent evil. And those two are linked. Of course, what is not good is evil. What is not evil is good. So they are related all the time. So, but what is good? What are the standards of goodness? So we have common social goods, but at the end are goods that come to personal goods, because society as such doesn't exist. Society is a people. So when we speak about social goods, it's personal goods distributed among the people of that particular society. So we have external goods. So external goods is a building, is a car, is something that I can take away, I can sell, and doesn't affect me directly, so to speak. I don't carry it with me. But what we're interested in, so the external goods disappear, they never give us total satisfaction. So you have people that they start with the iPhone 6, and then they have to get the 7, now they are in the 13. Why? Because it doesn't have this, it doesn't have that. So you are never satisfied, and you are always comparing, even if it is the latest, to the other models. So it gives, if you are on it all the time, it doesn't never give you total satisfaction. Need care. So I have friends in Europe, especially, that they have pets. They cannot travel. What do we do with the dog? What do we do with the cats? So in the moment you have something, you have to take care of it. So you have a car, you have to maintain it, and you have to park it. You have to prevent it from being stolen. So the more you have, the more burdens you have of external goods. I remember for a time I had 2 telephones, and I say, well, this is too much. So let's simplify, let's have one, because I have to check if I have balance, no balance, all these type of things. They need protection because they can be taken away, and they're in function of the internal goods. So what do I want a mobile phone? Because I want to communicate with my friends, because I want to learn. So it's on purpose of the internal goods. So the internal goods are something that I carry with me all the time. And nobody can take them away unless they take away. They really hurt me. They're always with us. They give us lasting satisfaction. So to be a father, to be a mother is something that has no price. They also need care, but we know how to care about it, and we can do it. It's up to us. Need protection as well, but it is within us. And also, they make what we are. They are not different from us. They are us. My body is me. My head is me. My stomach is me, even if they are physical. So we're going to do an exercise. I'm going to ask you about Anne. So Anne is 8 years old. She has a spine problem from birth, so that's why she cannot walk that well, and many times she spends quite a bit of the time in a wheelchair. She has heart arrhythmia. Sometimes the heart goes very fast, sometimes it goes slow. That's why she needs regular visits to the doctor. It may change as she grows and become normal, but for the time being, has heart arrhythmia. She is a genius in mathematics. He can go to NASA without any problem. And she's great at piano. She has nimble fingers. She spends more of the day sitting down, and by the piano is how she relaxes, and she plays very, very well. She loves her parents. Her parents are very lovely. You can see, even when they're pushing her around, they are together, holding hands. She loves sweets, children do. And those nimble fingers that she has for the piano, they are also nimble to get into your kiondo, your pocket, and pick up some money or some goodies that disappear without you noticing it. He's very smart pickpocket. He's generous with the treats that she buys, with her siblings and her friends, and he lies as a politician. You never know where the money comes from. You never know what he's thinking. So very, very skillful lady. Now, my question is as follows, that you have to sort it out, which is the following. The parents died in a car crash. So the family asks you, among the different siblings, if you can adopt her. Is she good to be adopted, or she's not good? So decide. Discuss among yourselves and decide. We cover it. Oh boy, and you are so lame. I have no memory, so you have to be my memory. So you know the 5 types of good. So what are those 5 types of good related to morality? They are there. How are they related to morality? If you have to, okay, the moral is out of that. Let's see if I get what I want here. Okay. So if you have to rank them, which will be the most important? Life. Yeah, if you use your life or you take the life of somebody, there is nothing you can do for him or for her. Second, fullness. Mm-hmm. So imagine that you lose you have a car crash and you lose your legs. Yuck. That really messes up your life for life. Health, it depends. There are some that are very close to death, and then they're important, more important than disabled. And there are others that is a cold. So depending on the degree, if it affects the wholeness or if it affects the death, then it depends on that. And then the last one is professional. So there are people who cannot work because they're disabled from beginning, from birth, but they are human beings. So technically they are useless. They always can do something little, but They are there. So this is important to know that these affect people. There is another thing that is important from the external goods. So if you deprive people of food, they die. So that is an external good, but is related to life in some cases. So if you take the property of people, then you're putting them in risk of death or in risk of health or starvation. Now, in your profession, the typical question that I ask is, but let's go ahead, the group activity. How can you improve? So if you are in energy, so how energy can improve the 5 types of goods? This is something that I did last week, keep on improving. So could be a model of life that you like. Who represents life better than any other one? For me are the babies or the puppies. People like babies. People like, you see mothers and then the ladies want to share the baby. And then when you have small dogs or small cats, they're more cute than the big ones. Who represents holiness better than anybody else? Welcome. What about or Mr. Universe? The typical. Who represents the health better than anybody else? Athletes, yeah. Who represents technical excellence better than anybody else? Difficult because they're different professions, but I put that one. Those are the top in research. They're technical in many, I don't know what is the price in energy that is the equivalent to the Nobel Prize, but for sure there is something. And who represents the moral goodness better? Which could be a model of moral goodness, integrity. Saints, people of great integrity, Wangari Maathai, could be there. Very good. Now the opposite. What really, related to so the corpses? Nobody likes to deal with corpses. The opposite. What is the opposite of holiness? I put different table, but it's deformity. When you have somebody who is deformed, it's not that you don't love him or her, but you would prefer that they don't have that. What is the opposite of the athletes? Well, chronic sicknesses that don't allow you to move around. And what is the opposite of the Nobel Prize? Well, unprofessional. And then what is the opposite? Are the criminals and crooks. So the exercise that we can do now in 2 groups is you have to make a chart where you have the 5 types of goods, and then in your company, how can you make them improve in each of them? Which regulations, which strategies you can use in order to help people to increase, to be more alive, so to speak, or create more life, and the opposite, to prevent death. So the positive and the positive preventing the evil. So maybe you can join her, and then you are 2 by 2. Work-life balance clearly is a promotion of life, because then you feel more at home and you can take care of the children. And sometimes it's not easy. I was telling them that I have a friend who he works at home, she works here in university. So the one who takes care of the babies is the father. He has to travel from time to time abroad, and then it's when the conflict comes. But anyway, they have some work-life balance, but the wife likes to be more at home because when the husband is away, the children take more to the house help than to the mother. And then the mother feels it. Anyway, so to prevent death, work overload, preventing evil, yeah, and when you don't have time to do things at home, it's very difficult. And also, when you are tired, you make mistakes. Mistakes in electricity can be fatal in high tension environment. So whole work retreats, that's mainly for mental development. So that all the areas that you need to know are there. For disabled people, Safaricom, for example, has a policy of employing disabled people, a percentage. So they employ blind people in the call center. They don't need to see them. They just can do it by touch and very fast. And then in some areas, they have people on wheelchairs. So you will see that in one of the videos that we will see. Then healthy medical insurance is basic, clearly, so that you feel you are always well. Some people put the gyms as well there, because healthy people produce more. We are better. We have whole health. Best practice training, yeah, and knowledge transfer, that's great. When in a company there is an environment in which you can help other people, and other people feel great when they help you, then that their knowledge transfer works very well. And then morally good, being ethical. But what will help people to be ethical in the company? What policy can you do to become ethical? I know a company, in another course, they say that in their company, which was a computer company, every month they have a short meeting. They see a short video of something good or something evil, and then they discuss 30 minutes. And then in that way, they keep abreast on the desire to be ethical, and at the same time, seeing what happens to the competition in different countries. So preventing evil, work overload, we have seen it, or work overindulgence. What do you mean by overindulgence? That you don't work. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it is more or less the same as work overload. Mm-hmm. Very good. Then safe standards compromise when people don't follow. And you see many constructions, the people don't put the helmet, bother, or the harness, and they just climb because it's a bother for them. But then the accidents happened, and then that's bad news. In fact, a friend of mine who is teaching here the other day came with gloves this big and this thick for high tension cables, because they are training the students on safety, electrical safety, at high voltage. Hiring unskilled labor, yeah, that's key. And that, for example, is what happened in Boeing. With these accidents, what happened is that they wanted to get the stock market going up. So for that, they reduce cost. How do they reduce cost? Retiring the best engineers, which are the workers that work the eldest, they have the higher salaries, and bringing people who are inexperienced. So what happens? We know what happened. Abuse and harassment, that's clearly, and then to prevent it, one has to have a real procedures and follow the procedures. Be somebody who makes sure that the procedures are followed. Very good. So group 2 maternity and paternity leave, very good. And in the United States of America, hi, welcome. In America, there is no maternity paid leave. So if you want to have a baby, you have to ask for leave, but it's unpaid. Then you say, but Americans, they say, okay, equality for men and women. You work, you get paid. You don't work, you don't get paid. You want to have a baby, that's your problem. But in the company, the man is there, the woman is not there. So the man is paid, the woman is not paid. Is that good? Well, for the company, may be good, but for the society, it's not good. So why? Because people don't have children, so have very few children. And then society, the clients, they have to be getting immigrants continuously. So wellness policies, mental health, and work-life balance, that's clearly to help people to be whole, developed. And again, the disabled can work, medical insurance covered, incentive programs to advise education, yes, by continuous training, psychological safety, yes, no pressures to do the wrong thing. In fact, one of the videos that we may see says, the important thing is to make it easier to do good than to do evil. So facilitate doing good. So people are ethical. If you put them under pressure, some crack. And that's terrible for them personally and terrible for the company. Preventable, comprehensive health and safety policies, very good. Promotion of merit, great. That is related to more professional best practice. Pollution prevention, health environment, yeah. And there are many types of pollution. For example, noise is a big pollution. So if you live or you have a company next to an airport, it's very disturbing. Then people who work with pneumatic, either they are protected or they start having serious problems, not only of hearing, but mental problems as well. And that's a pollution that normally is not taken into account. We think that pollution is just water and air, but anything that affects us, it can be making the environment toxic, can be bad. Life learning culture, yeah. And then in the best practice, there was a manager, no, a CEO of General Electric, I don't remember his name, was very famous, that he every year promoted the 10% top performers and dismissed the 10% bottom performers in every department. Oh, that was cruel. But anyway, that was his way of preventing sloppiness in the work. But the psychological cost of that was very big. And then conflict resolution is very good to avoid harassment. Very good. So we have done this exercise pretty well. So let's continue with, I don't know if the other people know. The people have not contributed. The people online are having difficulties. So we have seen this already. So the standard of goodness is what makes us a better human being. So physically, having good health and good nutrition is automatic. We don't have to really put an effort. Technically, we have to study. And the development in technology is increasing day by day, very fast. Now, what is a good person? So normally, we understand ourselves in a dyadic. So we have the body and we have the mind. We have the spirit. So we know that we are going to die, the body is going to decompose, become part of the earth again, but the spirit is going to remain forever because it's not material, it's immaterial, it's spiritual. Now, I have the fortune of assisting to lectures of a professor who says, well, let's do let's divide ourselves into three areas. So one area is the body. That's absolutely clear, corporal. So in that area, we are very similar to the monkeys, especially to the closest to us, it seems, are the chimpanzees, genetically speaking. And the difference between the chimpanzees and us in DNA, I think, is 1.5% only. So genetically, we are not that different. Actually, that genetical difference, 1.5 more or less, is the same difference between a man and a woman in the DNA. So who is the baboon? Anyway. So anything that the animals do, that the chimpanzees do, is at that level, is our level. We need to eat, we need to sleep, we need to do exercise, we need to rest. So that's the corporal level. So, and take into account that the corporal level includes psychology. So they have maternal instinct, they have anger, they get nervous, they can get depression. In Europe, in America, some veterinaries have specialized on the press cat or the press dog. Can you imagine? Anyway, it's a different world altogether. Now, the essential level, essence is what distinguishes one being from another. So the essence of human beings is to be rational animals. So we can call it human level or essential level. So there, we are different from the animals. So you don't have a class for baboons. They don't go to university. They don't drive cars. They don't clothe themselves. So the things that we do that the animals don't do belong to that essential level. And that essential level is basically our intelligence and our will that we need to develop. So a child doesn't know mathematics, has the capability of knowing mathematics, doesn't know language. And if he or she doesn't learn language before 6 years old, will never learn language because the brain freezes. But then that we are different from the animals, clearly. But we are common to all human beings in the sense that anybody can be an engineer if it is trained as an engineer. So an engineer is replaced by another engineer, a doctor is replaced by another doctor, a commander of the armed forces is replaced by other commander. So provided that we do the same, that is the common level, the human level. Now, there is one level in which we are irrepeatable, and that is the personal level. And that is what makes me be me, different from you, different from you, different from you. So at the personal level is very important because the relationships of love, for example, are there. So I'm the second born of my siblings. So I am irreplaceable from my parents. If by any chance I die, they will still remember me and they will miss me as I miss them now that they are not alive. And I cannot replace my parents. They are unique. Each of them is unique. And that is at the personal level. And there is where I decide for myself how to use my intelligence. I can become a doctor, I can become an accountant, I can become an engineer, I can become nothing. But that depends because I want to. The I want to comes from the personal level. I want to be a good person comes from the personal level. So this is because it's telling us that how we look belongs to the body. So we look like a man, we look like a woman, we look the color, different colors of skin. And at the essential level is what we do. And then at the personal level is who I am. I exist. Now, the three are connected. So when I am sleeping, I can. When I think wrongly, then I take the wrong decisions that affect my body. When I decide something wrong, then that my body will not work well. So in the body, we receive physical, mental, emotional by the genes. So that we cannot change. We cannot change our genes. So you will say, well, what about the transgenders? Well, the transgenders, they don't change all the cells of their body. They change some appearances of the body, but they don't change the body because the body, and each cell of the body has its part. So if I try to divide by that, not a big time. And so the body is something that we have, and we cannot. Sorry, I'm trying to get this gadget connected because I'm out of power. I'm checking this. Outside. Okay. Now we are okay. Let me take this away. This was not on. That way we couldn't hear the people. So this is with our genes. You will see that this distinction is great to understand ourselves. Now, the behavior that comes from our body that we cannot change is what we call temperament. And she has a terrible temper. You have heard that or you have read about this. That is the temperament. So the temperament is at this level. We cannot change. The animals have temperament. So there are cows that are very aggressive. There are cows that are don't move at all. There are others that are jumping all the time. So the same happens with us. Our body affects our behavior. Now, but we can control that impulse better than the animals. If we are only at this level, we become like animals. We are reactive. Somebody annoys me, I punch him. I don't control myself. No matter if it is an aggressor, or it is my boss, or it's my friend, or it's my wife. So character is how I decide to behave. And then little by little, I control my temperament. So I am very aggressive, but over the years, I have been controlling it. So now, even if I am annoyed, I don't show it, like the Japanese. They always smile. Inside, they may decide to kill you or to do something wrong, but you don't notice it because they have discovered their character. They have. So good character already has the connotation of morality, and we will see why. So the corporal, we don't have morality on our temperament. Why? Because we receive it. We didn't choose our DNA. We didn't choose our parents. The parents didn't choose either. If we were going to be a boy or a girl, if we are going to be slim or fat, that comes with the genes. The essential level is what we become because we want to. Of course, our family, our school, the education that we have helps us to be more intelligent, be having a better character. But I have to decide too, and that is the agent. I am the agent of my transformation. I cannot change my temperament, but I can control it. And so the temperament is there. The character I have control is what makes me, and what people see is how I act, which is the character. They don't see the temperament. So the reactions, my first reactions of the temperament, I don't have control. and we will see four temperaments. The desire of control my temperament over the years is what makes me have a good character or a bad character. So if I have a good character, good habits, good ways of doing things, then I have a good character. If I don't, and I follow my passions, my first reactions, then I can have biases. And then the decisions I take, the radical decisions I take, are the ones that make my character better or worse. So now most people do not distinguish between character, temperament, and personality. But this distinction you will see is very good to speak about freedom, to speak about love, to speak about happiness, and understand ourselves better. Because there are things we cannot change, not only ourselves, but our colleagues, our children, our relatives. Why? Because there are things that they are not bad because they are temperamental. They cannot control it. And we tend to judge people by those first reactions. So how do we improve as human beings? Well, working on the top, not working on my body. Of course, it helps. Not working on my intelligence and my willpower, which I have to, but it starts at the top. So what makes me better? Having a clear purpose. I want to be good. I want to be a good father. I want to be a good mother. I want to be a good professional. I want to be a good student. So that is the most important thing, to have a very clear, good personal purpose. So being humble is to accept the limitations. We all have limitations. That's one. Second, we can always learn something from anybody. Everybody has something that we don't have. And we can take advantage of that if we listen, if we try to say, okay, that's good. For example, the other day I was listening to a talk of a good philosopher called, very clear, Peter Chris. He was saying, even we can imitate something from Hitler. Because he was passionate, because he will sacrifice for you. So if we put that passion into being good or into being the best professional, wow, that's good. So even the worst of people, we can always learn something. Being magnanimous. What is being magnanimous? Being generous. To the extreme. Being prudent, we will see that having willpower, that is to be able to do what we say that we are going to do, no matter what interference there will be, and being moderate. So not doing things in extent, overeating, over drinking, over comfort, that we will see. So that is topic 2. And then we go into topic 3. Topic 3. It's slightly different. Because we go more directly into energy. We break a bit with the anthropology and we come into energy, social aspects of energy, that you have better knowledge than I do. But first we have to agree again on the term. What is society? Any type of society. Are we a society? A group of people. Okay, so the people in Matatu are a society?
Because one, I
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is a group of people that share the means of transport, but they, as you say, they don't have a common purpose. So it's important. A society is a group of people. The animals don't have societies; they have agrupations of people. Even if they have some structure, some of them. So a society is a group of humans that form semi-closed system. What is semi-closed system? Is that their interactions, most of the interactions are among them, but interactions with other societies or other people, in which most interactions are with people belonging to the group. Why this happens? Because we have the same purpose, and the society is there because it helps us to do things that we cannot do alone. So a family is a society. Why? Because we cannot have and educate the children, and the parents take care of the parents or the husband and the wife, and the society, the extended family. So a company, is a company a society? Yes, it follows this. It's a group of humans, and then the interactions are mainly there. The thing that is not here is the purpose, that is there. So what does energy to society? So what are the benefits of energy for society? So what is the interaction between society and energy? There are two ways of seeing it. So what are the advantages that energy is giving us as a group, in a family, for example, or in a company? And then the second is what happens if suddenly electricity or any type of energy disappears? So we are going to leave this for after the break, because we need more than 5 minutes. So we come back at 7:25. Okay? And then you can see that you cannot have hot tea without energy. And we cannot have this class without energy. And we cannot use the projector without energy. So it's easy. So the people who are at home can have the break as well, have a cup of tea, to have energy for the rest of the class. And we will have some music in between.
Mobility movement of people and animals here and there.
Communication, okay.
Growth and development, agricultural produce.
The animals will go in motorbike.
Yeah, immobility is equally an upcoming thing in the near future.
Okay, very good. So the village will gain a lot.
Yes.
So
yeah.
Very good. So without electricity, what do you use? Kerosene, charcoal?
Yes. When electric, small businesses like barber shops, phone charging stations,
okay,
welding, fabrications.
Okay, that's good. So electrification, which is one type of energy and is the most common, it improves the standard of living, you have said. You have not mentioned anything about education. How does electricity improve education? E-learning. So it opens,
e-learning. Yeah.
It opens you to the world, of knowledge. So you are not restricted to the classroom, to the teacher. You can go to Harvard, get things from Harvard. You have many places in which you can get education for free. So that's great. Then healthcare advancements. What is the benefit of electricity for healthcare?
Clinics, medical tests.
But they are there without electricity. So what electricity changes?
Electricity changes the technology in disease. In seeing the what do we call it? Microbiology.
What's that?
In laboratories.
Laboratories, okay.
Laboratory equipment require electricity.
Very good. Somebody has put something on the screen that has to be removed. Let's see more. We have to get. So, although or you have put something on the screen that has to be removed because otherwise it impedes us. So let's see what you have done. Breakdown functions, recording. No, annotate. Let's see, it's annotate. Eraser. Nope, I cannot erase it. So kindly remove what you have put there. Clear drawing. No. No.
No, there is nothing. I can equally see it on my screen.
So can you remove it? Somebody has.
No, it is on your side.
No, it's not on my side. It's on your side or in the side of Jan. So let's see if by chance is the, no, I don't think it is. Hide names or enable annotation by others. No, it is not. So I don't know.
Another one has popped up.
I don't know what has happened. Anyway, this is a problem of electricity. Okay, now let the people here talk as well. Huh? So let's see what happens. I don't know how that came about because, okay, electrification has many, we have seen it, economic opportunities, we have talking about it, communication, you have talked about it, connectivity, social service, and environmental benefits. So the standard of living is clearly at home. The refrigerator, cookers, keyboards, fans, lighting, television, mobile phones. So the life of a household when the electricity comes in is incredibly good. Also, it allows people to study at night, work at night. And one of the things that the electricity does is decreases the number of children. That has been proven. Enhancing education. And so lighting, computers, education, audiovisual, internet, communication, security is a big boost for the schools that get electricity. Then healthcare advancement is again refrigeration, very important for the vaccines and some medicines. Courses that will help. Lighting surgeries. Without lighting, it's very difficult to have surgery. And the vital equipment that you need as well will not work. So whenever there is a power cut, that's why most of the hospitals have generators, computers that facilitate the diagnosis and administration of the hospital, communication to get quick references from special cases, communicate things that are needed to send people to referral hospitals. So important, and security as well. So lighting as well in cities and in places diminish the increased security. The economic opportunities, clearly, we before the mobile came, we have the cyber cafes. They are still in some places some cyber cafes. lighting that allows you to keep the shop open longer, and people come even at night. For pharmacies, for example, more security, machinery, all type of machinery. You have mentioned welding, which is quite important and consumes a lot of electricity. Culture mills, many kind of machines that need power. Entrepreneurs, if people have more ideas and can put them into. And then marketing, in the sense that you can first know how they pay for produce at different places, and also you can advertise your products all around the world. You can sell online as well. So the economic opportunities are bigger. So, and communication connectivity, mobile banking is as well related to the economy, development of the economy. Integration is easier to communicate and to transmit good news and fake news. So one has to be aware that that happens. Self-education, we have talked about this, security, safety, and marketing, that are advantages. And then the social services that are for the community. A good water supply, and sometimes boreholes that are, they need the pump needs power, sewage treatment plants as well. There are places where many villages don't have those treatment plants. Project transportation, because of batteries, you need batteries, so they have to have recharging facilities for batteries. And then community centers that can work in the evening, which is when people are free, and they can meet together. And then the environmental benefits, so less deforestation by charcoal replacement, fuel replacement, oil replacement, by, if you have generators that is very consuming of fuel, and it takes a lot of, well, it produces a lot of CO2, and then you have a healthy atmosphere because electricity doesn't really have to do. So what happens when you have got that electricity, like in Nairobi? Actually, some friends coming from Nigeria, or students coming from Nigeria, they cannot believe that they can be 1 month without a power cut. There they are power cuts every second day or every day. So most houses have to have generators. So they are surprised that we have electricity, and that we complain when we have a blackout. Anyway, so we are not doing that badly. And unfortunately in South Africa now they have blackouts as well, and recently. So what happened with the society? Well, all those facilities that we had disappeared. So imagine what happens, what will happen to you if, or to all the people in Nairobi, if for 1 month we don't have electricity. What will happen? No classes? No banking, no telephones, nothing will work. Yeah. Yeah. Food will get rotten very quickly. So is bad news for society. So look what happened in the United States of America in 1977, New York.
Today on the Daily Dose, the great New York City blackout of 1977. July 13th, 1977, in the middle of a brutal heat wave that descended over the greater New York City area. At around 8 p.m., severe thunderstorms pelted the region until lightning struck a major power line in Westchester County, which increased demand on the surrounding power grids. An hour later, the shifting power load forced a domino effect blackout in all 5 boroughs of the city. At first, there was a sense of calm. Surgery moved outside at Brooklyn Jewish Hospital to utilize car batteries as backup power. But the tired, the poor, and the huddled masses soon became restless, agitated, and violent in the sweltering July night. New York City in 1977 was very much a place on edge. Son of Sam was stalking, while the fabric of the cash-strapped city was coming apart. The blackout proved to be a tipping point in the poverty-stricken neighborhoods of the boroughs. Arson and looting quickly ruled the night, while the response by the NYPD was weakened by layoffs and low morale. Even so, more than 12,000 police took to the streets that night, instead of the usual 2,500 officers on a normal night of patrol. One policeman suffered a gunshot wound while 550 others were injured. 40 firemen were injured fighting more than 1,037 fires. For the first time in city history, the state police was called in to help restore order and calm. Looting and vandalism ravaged 31 neighborhoods, including Crown Heights, where 75 stores on a 5-block stretch were largely destroyed. Before the lights came back on, 1,616 stores would be damaged in the looting and rioting. After 25 hours of unrest, Con Edison finally restored power to most of the city. Over the course of the blackout, more than 4,500 looters and arsonists were arrested, while an estimated $300 million in damage was done during the rioting, or approximately $1.3 billion in today's money. And there you have it, the great New York City blackout of 19...
So that can happen in Nairobi. No. Are you sure? So energy is vital for society. And then who controls energy is vital as well, because it can guarantee that it's stable and that it's affordable as well. So what will happen if we don't have gasoline? Transport becomes at a standstill, so people will not be able to go to work, coming from far. We will not get vegetables. We will not get food in cities. What other thing will happen? Generators will not work, so electricity will be compromised as well. Trains probably will not work because all the signals will not, well, that is more electricity, but if they don't have gasoline, they don't have power. So we will come to a standstill. So this is what happened in the United States of America. Again, when, well, I thought I had the video. So this happened because there was a hacking of the one pipeline from the refinery to distribution points. So there was a scarcity of gasoline, and immediately everybody went to the next petrol station to fill, just in case. So what have you noticed in the video? If that happened in Nairobi, will you see the road like that? Last year. Mm-hmm. That is what I wanted to mean. everybody is everywhere. Yeah. So there is, you see, there in the United States of America is one after the other, and if you have noticed in the junctions, we're always open. That in Nairobi. So we need to be a bit more social. Anyway, so why do we get together? Why do we bring in society? For two reasons. One is because we are social by nature. So my old friend Aristotle says, imagine that you have all the money of the world, but you are alone. Will you be happy? No, you have to share. We have to be with other people. We need to communicate. We need to share. We need to be appreciated. We need to be accepted. So we are social, and we cannot. If to be alone is bad. It's bad for our physical health. It's bad for our mental health and spiritual health as well. So we are social by nature. We need to give and receive. And then the second thing is that we cannot do many things. And if we are together, we can do many things. So we get together because we want to do better. So for example, will you be able, any of you being engineers, to produce one single bulb like this one? We will not. We will need glass that has to be produced by somebody else. We will need the technology that we have to learn from somebody else. We will need metal and then the gases, and then we'll need the machinery to do it. So we will spend the whole life and not do it. Now, it's affordable. Anybody can buy it in Kenya. Why? Because, well, we have a global village. All this has been produced in China, but the Chinese have not invented it. It has been centuries, thousands of years of people collaborating in a way. That's why war and lack of social concern keep us underdeveloped. We are going to see that, I think, eventually. So now we get together to be better. Now there are 5 types of capital. So capital is not just money, it's the capacity of improving. So natural capital, if we think of a farm, is the type of soil, the type of rain. If we think in a country, is the minerals that we have, the wildlife that we have, the mountains that we have. Mount Kenya attracts people, Mount Kilimanjaro attracts more people. So those are the natural capital. Now then we have the human capital, which is the number of working, capable people, the youth of the country, and how well we are educated. What are the skills that we have, and the motivation that we have. Then we have the social capital, that is the capacity of working together. There are different indexes of how to calculate these capitals. Then we have the manufactured capital, which are the things that we have built and remain. For example, ports, the port of Mombasa, now the port of Malindi, the railway, the roads that we have, the buildings that we have. So those are things that remain. And then we have the financial capital, which is basically not only the cash that we have, but how do we organize that cash? The taxes that we have, the facility of having private banks, the facility of having a stock exchange where you can get capital to start your company or to keep your company going. So these are the 5 types of capital. So financial capital, the regulation instruments to exchange the wealth in society, the human capital, the capacity of people, the training that we have, the skills that we have. So the human capital is the skills that we have, the experience that we have, because it's not the same an engineer that has just finished campus and an engineer that has been working 20 years getting his hands or her hands dirty with grease. Emotional intelligence, Allah, what's that? Character, if we are good, because if we are evil, we will break everything. And then the amazing thing, personal brand. What is the personal brand? What is your personal brand? Mhm. So the personal brand is how people see you. Uh-huh. So you are a good engineer, and you are reliable, you are trustworthy. You can be called for this particular, you are good in this particular area. So that's your personal brand. What's your personal brand? What people think of you. I think professionally, I think bridge with that human because and I know this because I don't do much of what you do. Very good. So the personal brand is how people see us. The character is what we are. Very good. So the skill and the technical abilities that we have, the experience, for how long we have practiced those skills. Emotional intelligence is how we understand, we can relate with the emotions of other people, and capacity to work with others. So the character is the personal good behavior that we have, and the personal brand is how people understand us. So emotional intelligence, this Daniel Goleman was not the one who invented the emotional intelligence, but he's the one that popularized it, and has 4 elements. And we're going to do an exercise on emotional intelligence. Learn every book. You know, about what you're doing, aligning. The third is empathy, knowing what someone else is doing. And the fourth, putting them together and feel related. So that's what many that they're about the full program. So the social behavior, the social school, well-behaved, up 10%. So it really is executive function. We could mediated by the frontal lobe. Both helps you manage your emotions and it helps you pay attention. So as kids learn these skills, they also learn. I think that the fact that was something.
I know I too, it's been going up for 100 years. And so, um, environment. I feel what the number of intergroup wars, the intergroup hatred going on, the levels of familial abuse. In other words, indicators are all still not that great, which is why I'm very strong opponent of getting these social emotional learning programs in every school worldwide.
What do you think?
Remember this, I'm only telling you so I would say but skill or but very good set of rules of social interaction. Lots of subtleties. Americans typically one to and but they really don't necessarily know what kind of development are often very outgoing. But I think it's one of the
So emotional intelligence, the first one is self-knowledge, self-awareness. So how many names do you have for emotions? Now, if we don't name the emotions, it's because we don't know that it's different from another emotion. So there is an application done by a doctor in the UK that he lists 32,000 different emotions. Can you imagine? So that is self-awareness. So the more we can name our emotions, the more we can control them, which is the second one. One thing is self-awareness. So if I know that I'm getting upset with somebody, I can act and say, it's okay, cool down, get out, avoid the fight. Because I notice it. But if I don't notice it, I get into the fight. Because I don't realize that that is going to trigger actions that I don't want to do. So the most important one is to discover our emotions. The second one is to control our emotions. So, and that is character. Right? That is the capacity of knowing that I'm getting angry, but I'm not going to act on my anger. I'm going to cool down. I'm going to breathe slowly. I have mechanisms to avoid the confrontation with the boss or the confrontation with the neighbor because it's not going. I have to cool down. Even sometimes with the children, I have to cool down and then later act. Like when I am on control of myself. So I have to be on control of myself. I have to know my emotions to be able to control them. Then the third step, this is me. Of course, if I know my emotions, it's easier for me to understand the emotions of other people. If I don't know my emotions, it's very difficult. If I don't control my emotions, again, it's very difficult to help other people to control their emotions. So it's basic for me to know my emotions and to be able to control my emotions. Now, the second one is empathy. That is the capacity of seeing that that person is tired, that that person needs a break, that that person is not interested in what I'm telling them now. So that is empathy, which allows me to feel what other people feel, so to speak, and be aware of it. And the last one is the relationship, which is the capacity of help other people with their emotions. The politicians are very good at this. They can make a crowd laugh, they can get a crowd annoyed and riot. So because they understand the emotions and they can manipulate the emotions. So in order to be a leader, in order to help people, it's very good to develop the emotional intelligence. So all of us have a bit of emotional intelligence, but we can improve. We can improve always in our emotional intelligence, no matter how mature we are. So in engineering, you know that what you can measure, you can control. So give yourself 1 to 5 in each of them. The last one, relationship management. So give yourself 1 to 5 in each of them.
The screen can't be seen.
Oh, sorry. But you saw the video. No. Let's see what is the problem. Here we are. Share screen. Oh, yeah. Okay. Now you should be able to see it. Do you see it now?
Yes, yes, thank you.
No, not this one. So since we have to validate, so now give 1 to 5 to your colleague. Yeah, but without consulting with her. Just validation. The people in the chat, sorry, online, you can do it in the chat because you are two and we are not seeing it. So now you can cross check. You have analyzed me yourself. 4 out of 5, so you have good family relationship. Self control is that okay. I cannot assess this too because we have not interacted, and this I take it by faith. You can do it with your wife. Say, okay, analyze me according to this. Give me 1 to 5, and see what happens. And you do it to her, and then you will have fun. Now, I think it's how you improve. Now, I want you to analyze this lady, the emotional intelligence of this lady. This must be in Russia or in some Slavic country.
Сегодня рождение. Да ты что? Да, сейчас. Да.
What is the degree of emotional intelligence of that man and that woman? About the same, but they have different temperaments. Very good. So natural and physical, and then the social capital. So in the social capital, which is important, trust. Trust is the capacity to expect other people to respect and keep agreements. Then the goodwill is the capacity to volunteer, to do things that are beyond our agreements. Reciprocity is the capacity of giving back to people who have helped us. Then information is the capacity of sharing information. What you were mentioning of helping each other in knowledge aspects, not to keeping it to myself, but to contribute to the knowledge of other people, sharing knowledge. And then cooperation is the capacity of voluntarily working together and without much ado. So now one question, okay, this is the simplest way of getting analyzing how much you have social capital in the family or in the company or in the country. And then this is in the United Nations, they have it more complicated. But I don't think this is on a national level is less important for us. Then the structural capital, this is Nairobi now. It looks impressive, isn't it? Then now the activity that we have now is again in groups. Which is the most? You have to rank them on importance for the development. For the development, so you say first is this one because it's going to transform this other, is going to transform this other, is going to transform this other, is going to transform this other. Do you explain myself? So rank 1 to 5, which is the one. Imagine that you are doing the budget of company, and then you have 1 million shillings, and you have to allocate 100 million shillings, and you have to allocate proportionally according to the importance. What would you put the priority on? Or in the country, or in the family? The people at home, they can agree, again, through the chat. You have agreed? Have you agreed? You have. Okay, what will be number 1? Okay. Can you explain why?
Because the most important for development is that the people want to work with, they want to conceptualize the idea. Then when the idea is formed, there's a social aspect. Either among yourself or with the people around you, they have to accept and buy into what they're going to do. Then once those are checked, you can, the physical, the social and the human can come up with ways of generating the financial and raise funds to other projects. And once that is done, now you're able to think about now the physical. Let's say if you, let's say mining is where the labs are, will get your raw materials. That's why the physical. Now where the physical is when you can construct the structural support the project.
Okay, very good. Very good. Okay. The people at home, do you have any Agree or disagree? I think they have gone to bed. Yes.
Disagree.
In the chat.
Yes, we are disagreeing.
Okay, tell us your ranking.
The first was the human capital,
Okay,
social, structural,
okay,
financial, then physical.
okay. The explanation why?
Because if you don't have the human capital, even though you have the financial, there's no need because you'll have to import labor. And if there's no social atmosphere, there'll be an equal distribution of resources. And these resources to be distributed, they need some structural arrangement for it to flow through.
Very good. Okay, perfect. Let's see what is next, because we are almost finishing. So the next it will not be here. We will do it another day, because this is comparison using the 5 types of capital of East Africa. But before we, yes.
And this one, why these people they convince and to come up with the method where it's not much big. Like it's even in the international looking at our country, when it comes to political unrest, we find that mostly to start in a place like Kingsland, maybe in a place like Obugasland in Kizungu. So why this is an easier outside unrest coming up?
Because they have nothing to lose. Normally. So you don't go because you have a lot to lose. And then the other thing is that they don't have education, so it's easier to convince them. That's my impression. Yeah? But the main thing is you don't have anything to lose. So, and you have something to gain. You can loot.
But I don't know. Is it about self-awareness or being very self-awareness? Because at the time we were racing around, or they say traffic lights around Nairobi and the other part of the country because of the exceptional things. A few such were happening in, for example, Europe, and kind of about France, where everyone was coming out, especially the working class, telling people they want to work beyond their second year. And that was kind of widespread, a kind of paralyzed. Probably nothing moving and we have moved out. So, well, the sector was paralyzed. It so happens also in the UK, where we believe that we have a better sense of self-awareness and therefore try to check on the decisions we're making, how they affect and will affect the development activity.
Okay, that I don't have an answer because I have to get information how it works because okay, I'm not that much following those countries. Yeah, but in France there was one big rebellion. That you see in those countries the people are very educated and very well informed. So when somebody tries to do something that they realize is going to harm them, they come to the street. We have a 5% increase in taxes coming. What are we doing? Eh? But nothing else. We don't go to the street. Eh? We don't say Ruto or whoever. No, we are not going to do it. Now, 90% of the country says no. What do they say? What are our parliamentarians doing? They can be voted. So let me answer that with the question that I wanted to answer you. Compare Japan and Russia. In those things, in the five things. So who has more physical capital? Russia. They have diamonds, they have oil, they have gas, they have a lot of wheat. So what does happen? Japan has a physical thing. Earthquakes, tsunamis, and they don't have gas, they don't have oil, they don't have petrol, they don't have coal. Nevertheless, they're very one of the 8. Why? Human capital, and the social capital. Does Russia have social capital? No. So the difference is the social capital. So Japan is leading in the world not because they have any energy or any, they have tremendous, they have invested in human capital and in social capital. Those two things. What is missing in Kenya? So we have physical capital, we have human capital, quite a bit compared to the rest of Africa, and then we have Kenyans in the States, we have Kenyans in Canada, in the States, everywhere, in Australia, everywhere in Africa, and then and we have financial capital in the sense that we have very well organized banks, and there are crooks always, but anyway, all around the world. And then we have structural capital. Okay, we have the best port of East together with Durban, but I think Mombasa is better than Durban. So the only thing that we're missing is the social capital. So and that is ethics. So if we are able to, if we have no petrol, we are able to be in one line and let the people in the junctions come in without any problem, then we will be better than Japan. How do we increase that social capital? Well, we have to trust each other, and that's pretty difficult in Kenya. So one of my shocks when I went to Britain and I went to the States is that the houses don't have walls. You say, in Nairobi we have fortresses. In Johannesburg is the same. Everybody is wall off, and with guns. You say, this is not good for development. Anyway, so we have to improve our social capital, and that's precisely where ethics comes in. So this philosophy I told you that, or the triadic structure of the person who taught me, he taught thousands of students. In one book he says, the problem of development in Africa is a problem of ethics. When I read that, it says, oh, this makes sense. We are as clever as the rest of the world. We are hardworking as the rest of the world. But what happens? Nigeria has a tremendous potential, and we have tremendous potential. If we manage to work together, if we manage to respect each other, if we manage to help each other, that will be great. That's why we are here.